northeast Minneapolis, April 16th, 1919. Yeah, I was satisfied with my life. As a whole, has been a happy life. Well, I don't remember much until about 1927, when the folks had tried to purchase a farm in Cedar. And like I say, my dad was not a farmer, but he didn't do much farming because he worked in the cities and would come to the farm on weekends. It was my brother and my mother that did the farm work. I had to go out and take care of the cows after I come home from school. And I'd get a piece of bread and it'd be lard on the bread instead of butter and that kind of stuff. The farm was a disaster. My dad wasn't a farmer, and he never should have bought the place. And the drought years of '29 and Depression forced him to leave the farm and lose it. And so they went back to the 3011 California Street to live. The backyard was the railroad tracks, and we had approximately a block between our backyard and the railroad tracks, so we had a lot of room to play. And then I went to De La Salle, and the folks paid for my tuition for the first year, and then I worked at a roofing company. I talked my mother into buying me a bicycle, and I paid her back so that I could, after school, I could make 3 o'clock my starting time at Ruberoid. And I worked from 3 until 11. So that way I was able to pay for my own tuition and give the folks a little bit of money too. Met Emily at a root beer stand. The fellow that I was with, we went in for root beer and we got talking to Emily, and so we said, if you can find somebody for the other boy. So she called her friend and we both went, and I had her friend for a while, and then I told Frankie, I says, well, let's change partners here, and he did, and that was the start of our romance. Took a long time for me to really fall in love with her, but when I did, that was it.
I was pretty nice, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. Yeah, and have been ever since. I joined the Naval Reserves right after high school, which would have been in '38. And in '41, then they called our battalion from Minneapolis to active duty. I was at the naval station in Port Townsend, Washington, when war was declared. I remember that. Emily was with me at times. She'd spend probably a month or so, and then she got lonesome for her family, so she came back to Minneapolis. I think you did that about 3 or 4 times, didn't you?
Isn't that terrible? I had to be home.
After Port Townsend, then I got assigned to the yard minesweeper, that little ship, wooden ship, and we went up to the Aleutians, and I think I spent about 20 months aboard the minesweeper. The Navy was a good life, and it taught me a lot because I was with fellas, and the authority was good. They weren't abusive or anything. They could see your side of the picture. It was a good life. Childhood friend of mine was a tailor and was the instructor at the Dunwoody, and he pictured a good life for me with tailoring. Shortly after I graduated, and I worked for the Andrews Mint Shop, and then I went on my own, and that was a good money maker. Fact is, we paid for the house in about 4 years. But then we stayed up until 2 or 3, both of us. She was my seamstress, so we stayed up sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to have the orders ready for the next day. In the wintertime, I would pile snow up so that they had a slide from the backyard all the way to the front. And they had a lot of fun there, or I'd build them an ice house, a snow house, and they'd go in there and play. So the neighborhood has gotten older, the people have gotten older, there isn't that unity among people like there was in our days, mostly because the children brought us together. Each one was about our age, and the children played together. We all just kind of lived together. But you don't have that now. We don't have that now. Children of today have got too much stuff. They do. You know, years ago, and even when our kids, they didn't all have different playthings like they have today. What they had to get along with, because we couldn't afford anything different. Yeah, I've got a lot more than my folks ever had, and my children have got more than I have. So, well, I try to maintain the yard, and then I maintain Emily. I do most of the meals. I clean the floors and wash dishes. Now, lately, she's been helping me with the dishes. But it's been a year now that I've been her caretaker. I'm proud of being a husband, a father, and I'm proud that God gave me the power or the gifts that he did have, and the health that I have. Except for the last 2.5 years, I was a healthy fella. Yeah, I was satisfied with my life. As a whole, has been a happy life. I wouldn't mind going fishing a little more than I have. So, other than that, I'm satisfied.